Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode, I guess our monthly episode of Fans from the Stands. This is episode number 11.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Season 2 of Fans from the Stands. I'm your co-host, Mickey, with my co-host, Ivan.
Hey, everybody.
To our apologies to our listeners, I guess, life's kind of, it's life, right? We get stuff to do, work, vacation, kids, buy new houses.
Men's league.
Men's league, baseball. It's just... things get in the way, but we're back anyways. We're really excited. I'm excited, at least, to talk about this last month of Blue Jay baseball. And I don't know if there's really anything to talk about. This could be a pretty short podcast.
Yeah, not much to talk about.
What happened? I mean, did anything really happen this month? Somebody got fired. Let's talk about it. So first of all, the Jays this month, from our last podcast, went 16-10. Which was a definite upswing. They're now in first place in the wild card race.
Yep.
And don't look now, but the Yankees are in a slump.
Yeah, they haven't won a game since they traded away Joey Gallo.
Which I'm sure is, when they say that not all correlations equal the outcome.
He was the glue. He was the glue.
he was the definite glue in the clubhouse, I guess. The Yankees have lost 5 in a row, and don't look now, but the Baltimore Orioles, who the Jays play tonight, are 2 games away from the Blue Jays. But we'll talk about that after the Blue Jays talk. So Blue Jays talk a little bit about what's gone on this month. So as we mentioned earlier, there's not really much to talk about except for the fact that Charlie Montoyo got fired.
Yay?
Yeah, I guess. Right? You hate to cheer for someone for losing their job. But I think we talked about this our last podcast, actually, and I think it was time for a change. And
yep,
I even think at the start of the season that we kind of predicted this was going to happen.
Yeah,
it's always, and it's not no fault of Charlie's, but it kind of happens when a young club is starting to get competitive. They bring in a guy to coach the young kids, let them make some mistakes, guide them in the right direction, happy-go-lucky, and then when they get to the point where they're supposed to be winning, they come in with another guy. That other guy is now Schneider.
John Schneider, who actually managed a lot of these players in AAA for the Bisons.
Right, and they won the AAA championship. I don't know what it's called, the AAA World Series. I don't know. I'll get your take on it. I was surprised they went with John Schneider, and not to say that he doesn't have a good relationship, like you said, with Bo and Vlad, because he and Lourdes. I mean, he managed them in AAA, but I don't know if he's too much like Charlie. What do you think?
So I'm actually okay with it because they right off the hop they said it was interim, right? So we know that it's just until the end of the season. So who knows what's going to transpire in the off season, who they're going to bring in. So I wasn't surprised. He is an internal candidate, right? So he is somebody who's been with the team, understands the players' tendencies and things like that. So there is that familiarity. So I'm not entirely surprised. I think that his style is different from Charlie's. I think he'll be more of a hands-on. You see him talking to players a little bit more. It's rare that you see Charlie talk to a player. Right? If you see somebody upset in the bench, they're mad at themselves or mad at a situation, it's rare that you'll see Charlie go over and talk to them. It's usually John or it'll be Pete Walker that'll walk over, kind of give him the pat on the back, give him a little pep talk to him a little bit, and just kind of get him to settle down. It's rare that Charlie did that. And I noticed that John Schneider does that quite a bit.
Yeah. And I guess that's what concerns me a little bit is he's not the kind of the, how am I trying to put this? He's not the kick-ass kind of manager that I was kind of thought they'd go for. More like a who's managing the Mets right now.
Oh gosh,
he managed Baltimore last year.
Oh, Buck Showalter.
Well, Buck Showalter. They're kind of like the no nonsense. Not so much the Tony La Russa fall asleep manager.
Yeah.
But more like the, Buck Showalter. So I don't know. I know. Hey, and you can argue with results. They've gone 13. What did we say earlier? They went
13-6.
13-6 since Schneider took over. So I mean, you can't argue with success, right? So, and they definitely are more aggressive, a lot more hit and runs, more stolen bases. I think Vladdy's had 4 stolen bases since Schneider took over.
And we're seeing a lot of first to thirds and tagging up from second to third on fly balls to the outfield. So we're seeing that more often. They're using their speed. They have speed. They never really used it.
Yeah, and it's a nice avenue to see that it's a different kind of, I don't know, different kind of style. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a different kind of style that the Jays are using to win ball games, which is nice. And is it going to help? I hope so. Seems to be working so far. So yeah, it's been a nice change. I'm not glad Charlie lost his job. I don't think anybody is happy for that, but I think the Jays needed to go in a different direction. And again, some of the players said that too, didn't they?
Yeah. Like, some of them wanted to remain anonymous, but Bo Bichette was pretty verbal, saying that it was time and that it looked like they needed somebody that would, keep people accountable.
And Bo was very vocal about it in the media and basically said he needed a different voice in the clubhouse. And that's, I would expect something like that to come from Bo Bichette. He seems like a leader in the clubhouse, and there you go, right? I think we were right all along saying, Charlie kind of worn out his welcome, and it's time for a change. So, welcome John Schneider to the Blue Jay crew. I guess I shouldn't say welcome. He's been here now for 2.5 weeks. In major news, I guess, since we've last done a podcast, and it's happened only a couple of days ago, is the trade deadline came and went.
Yeah.
So the Jays. So I'll ask you the question before. Well, I'll tell you for those of you who don't know, the Jays picked up 3 players, I believe.
Yeah, they got
Anthony. Oh, it's 4 players.
4 players. Yeah.
Anthony Bass and Zach Pop came from the Marlins for Josh Groshans. We also got Whit Merrifield from the Royals. And sorry, I don't remember the pitcher from the Dodgers.
White.
His first name is...
Oh, it's Mitch White.
Mitch White, thank you. He's the second coming of Ross Stripling.
Yeah.
So that's what we got. That's what the Jays got in the trade deadline. I'm not... was it enough? I'll ask you the question. Did the Jays do enough?
I don't think so. They really didn't add a big impact player, which is what a lot of us were looking for. Now, I wasn't saying like, let's go out and get Juan Soto, because I think that was a ridiculous amount of prospect capital that would have been given up, and even major league players. Like, we would have to say goodbye to probably Gurriel, maybe Bichette. So there would have been a lot of players going the other way, and you still need to fill those holes, right? So, but I was hoping that they would go after a marquee pitcher.
Right. I don't, so I guess when I ask the question, it's not really fair. Do they do enough? Well, that can be read 2 ways. Did they do enough to make the playoffs? Yeah, I think they did enough to stand where they are, right? I think they'll either finish first or second on the wild card. So they did enough that way. Did they do enough to compete with the Yankees or the Astros? No.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing because we always talk about windows of opportunity, right? And the windows of opportunity are, what's your competitive window? And I know the Jays always talk about they want to stay competitive. I know that Shapiro wasn't happy with how Alex Anthopoulos
just emptied the
farm system, for that one run in 2015, 2016. So they're a little more cautious. But there comes a time where I think you still have these guys on a controllable window, right? Like, you're not paying Lourdes tons of money. You're not paying Teoscar tons of money. You're not paying Bo tons of money. You're not paying Vladdy tons of money. If you can go out and get someone big right now for a couple of years, that'll impact your club. I think you got to try to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, don't get me wrong. I was happy. I was very happy with the reliever. They needed 2 impact relievers. Is Zach Pop an impact reliever?
Anthony Bass is having a good year. I was happy with Anthony Bass.
I was very happy with that. And to be honest, and to be, I guess, my own naivety about other clubs, and especially the National League East or West, not knowing much about Miami, I didn't know Bass was at a 1.41 ERA.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And he's in high leverage situations. I think Zach Pop's a Canadian.
He's
throws
young.
High 90s.
He's young,
big sinker. I mean,
and he induces a lot of ground balls.
And the thing that they like the thing they like most about it is he induces ground. He's controllable for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
That was the thing about this trade deadline. All the players they got back were controllable.
Yeah. So we have Anthony Bass next year. We'll have Zach Pop next year. We have Mitch White. Actually, they're thinking that Mitch White's just going to step into the same role that Ross Stripling had this year.
Exactly. Right. And that's kind of swing guy, the long relief, 5th starter, usually, or coming in after Kikuchi finishes his 2 innings of work. So, and then Mitt Merrifield was a nice addition. I mean, it's a nice piece. And I think we all know why that was coming in, with Springer looking like he can't bat with 2 arms.
Yeah. His elbow is messed up. So he's on the 10-day IL now.
Yeah. Which, I think we all saw that coming.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be enough. He's going to get some cortisone shots. I think he's going for surgery I'm sure that's headed for surgery in the off season. So do I think they did enough? They did enough to stay where they are.
Yeah.
Not to overleap. I just think when you have a competitive window like they have, you need an impact bat or an impact player. Do I think they needed Soto?
That would have been nice.
Ask the Padres who've won 1 game since they got him.
Yeah, exactly. Would have been nice, but I mean, I don't think we absolutely need it. And the fact is, they say, we need a left-handed bat to balance out the lineup, but we've got the best average against right-handed pitchers anyways.
Exactly.
So why do you need a left-handed bat? Because that's typically you're going to put them against right-handed pitchers anyway. So
it's funny that you say that, right? Because a lot of the commentators during that trade deadline, and I'm just going to comment about this trade deadline coverage. I think it's funny in Canada how like trade deadline day in hockey, it's like from 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And they have like 8 analysts on the board, like on site, and they got, all these reporters across. The baseball trade deadline for Sportsnet started at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah. The trade deadline was done at 6.
Yeah. It started at 4:00 in the afternoon. It was 1 hour, and it was actually the radio show. Like their drive home radio show that they just show live on TV for an hour. Then it went to Tim and Friends.
Yeah.
But they were just covering baseball. That was their baseball coverage.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell my wife, I'm like, just here's the complete opposite of like what baseball is in Canada compared to what hockey is. And she asked like, well, what's the difference? Well, I said, yeah, we get some Jays news, but it'd be nice to see like a little bit of some analysis of trades going on across the league, not just the Jays, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the Jays trade about Merrifield came in about what, 6:00, 6:05,
Right at the end.
Right at the end, and then we're all wondering,
is he vaccinated?
Exactly. So, what did you think when you heard this news?
Well, so right away I'm like, okay, well, if he gets vaccinated today, he won't be able to play. Like you'll have to get the Johnson & Johnson because that's the 1 dose one.
Yeah.
And he has to wait 14 days after the fact. So we're like, geez, like the trade deadline is on the 2nd. Let's say he gets it on the 2nd. He was got to wait until the August 16th before he can come into the country. Well,
there was a lot of things going through my mind. One exactly. Well, is he vaccinated? Because when Kansas City came to Toronto, he was one of the 10 players that didn't come.
Yeah, and he was very vocal about it.
Yeah, and so I thought, okay, well, if he's not vaccinated and he was that vocal about it, they must have talked to him. I mean, they couldn't talk to him directly because that's tampering. But I'm sure they could have talked to the general manager and been like, hey.
So when you make a trade, I heard that they get access to all of the medical records.
Okay.
So odds are the Royals basically told him, we're getting ready to trade you. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to trade you this trade deadline.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to want to get the vaccine because some teams are going to be interested.
Right. I think he said he would get the vaccine if it was a chance to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. And it was basically anybody in the American League East, if they wanted him, he'd need to get vaccinated because they played Toronto so many times. So yeah, I was kind of, I wasn't too worried. I was sure the Jays did their due diligence and they were going to trade for a player that could only play half the games they got him for.
Yeah.
That being said, I'd have been ecstatic if they got him 3 years ago.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
The Whit Merrifield from 2019, 2020 would have been great. Now he's batting 240. Still got a lot of speed. We saw it yesterday in yesterday's game.
Yeah.
What do you
defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
So look, the way I look at it is, you get Zimmer out of there. You got the same speed as Zimmer, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Defense might not be as top notch as Zimmer, but he's better than most other outfielders that we have. So I think it sets us up nicely for the playoffs.
I don't see a negative about it. I just don't see, it wasn't like getting Benintendi, right?
Right.
That the Yankees got. I really think we needed another starter. We didn't get that, except for Mitch White, who's,
Ross Stripling went on the injured list as well.
Right.
So
I'm sure they knew that going into the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I just, I really think they need to make a splash, and they really didn't.
Yeah, they did.
I heard the asking price for Soto was going to be, what did they say? It was going to be Bo Bichette, Martinez, Moreno, Martinez, Bichette, and they're Tiedemann, and then one other prospect. That was all basically what San Diego gave up.
Yeah.
So, but again, I don't think Soto was I don't think we needed Soto. He'd been nice to have, but I don't think we was. I don't think
that's another player that you got to try to sign later.
Right, and that was it. Right. Well, at least if you, I don't know if the Jays could afford to have two $450 million plus players.
Well, exactly, because then, if we think about it, like they're definitely signing Vlad.
Oh yeah,
because he's shown that he's a performer year in, year out now.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to want to sign Bo, but Bo is kind of on the fence right now, right? So,
yeah, I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Like, do you sign Bo Bichette to? If I'm the Jays right now, I don't.
No.
I don't.
Vlad,
think
yes.
Oh, for sure. Vlad, Teoscar, I would sign. Lourdes, I think his contract's coming up in a couple of years. You can wait.
He was cheap.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be cheap in a couple of years. But
no.
Now he's still batting. Anyways, so trade deadline, I think we're both in agreement. They didn't do enough. It was meh. Yeah. Like, that's the best way I could describe how the Jays did.
Well, all you can hope is that they get hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And they just ride that momentum into the playoffs.
Well, it just showed with Meza going down this week. It just showed how thin their bullpen is, right?
Yeah.
Who's their lefty guy to come in now?
They had none. They brought him some guy named Cage.
Exactly. So you're out of a lefty. You don't have a lefty specialist. I guess Simmer's good against lefties, mind you, but he's not a lefty.
No.
So it wasn't an impact arm I was hoping for. It wasn't like a Clay Holmes kind of. And you're welcome for Clay Holmes doing horribly lately, because I dropped him in a straddle league. Usually, of course I did. Now he's stinking up the place. Anyways, so that was a trade deadline. Any other major moves that surprised you from other teams, or?
Well, I was surprised that the Yankees decided to throw so many chips into the pot. because they picked up quite a few there. They've got they picked up Montas.
Right. And that was another player the Jays apparently were in to the last minute. And they like the Yankees offer better.
Yeah.
Mind you,
And
seeing Montas' last start, I wasn't
no,
really upset about it.
I was kind of happy that it was Jordan Montgomery who was
Yeah.
traded away from the Yankees, then came in and beat the Yankees.
Yeah, right. He went to St. Louis. Yeah, I was shocked they're trading starting pitching. That's a very valuable asset you're trading away for basically an injury-prone center fielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Yankees didn't do. I guess they did enough already before the deadline. Tampa Bay is just Tampa Bay. They got Phillips.
Yeah.
I think. Baltimore, who's in contention, trades Trey Mancini.
Yeah.
And their closer.
And I'm not surprised.
Well, both or just Trey Mancini?
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that they were like a seller because, I mean, they're playing well, but the management's probably like, we're not in a place where we can compete. So let's get some assets and really work at it next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a hard time when people say that, right? When management thinks, and that's exactly what they're thinking. They say like there's nothing guarantees you next year, right?
Yeah.
Nothing says next year you're not going to go down with 2 more injuries and then your whole season's kaput. I think, if you have a chance to win this year, do it. And I don't think trading Trey Mancini was a big blow to the club. I mean, people like him, but he's only batting 265-ish, 12 throw home runs. He's not the old Trey Mancini. But their closer, that shocked me, Lopez. The Jays saw him against Minnesota.
Yep.
And got to him. But anyways, so that was Tampa Bay, Baltimore. Boston didn't do much.
Just selling away pieces.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then there was so the Jays were in, I guess, on Noah Syndergaard. What did you think about that?
Well, if the price was right, I thought that was a decent pickup.
Yeah, right, and that's a good point. I mean, if the price was right, like as in not too high,
because he's only signed to 1 year, right? So he's a rental.
He's a rental, and he's not the guy we would all remember.
No.
And if you're looking at Twitter when I was refreshing the screen every few minutes, people are screaming to have Thor come to our team. We need but it's not. He's not Thor anymore.
Yeah.
He's more like Thor's little brother.
He's Loki.
He's Loki. Yeah. But you know what? That's a good actually comparison because he's not the flame throwing 99 miles an hour guy anymore. He's more like he pitches to contact.
Yeah.
I think he's pitched. What I looked up, it was like 66 innings and he had 44 strikeouts. So he's not a strikeout pitcher anymore. He pitches to contact, and that's who he is. Do the Jays need that? Yeah, well, wouldn't hurt.
If he gives you innings, like what I was hoping was like, okay, let's get somebody so we can make sure that Kikuchi doesn't start for the rest of the season. And that's what I was hoping. And it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Mitch White could be that guy, but Stripling's on the injured list, so he's basically filling in for Stripling now.
For Stripling. They're really banking on Kikuchi bouncing back, right?
And Barrios.
Oh. So let's wrap up. That's the trade deadline. Basically, I think we both had the agreement. The Jays didn't do as much as they could. That's about it. I mean, they should have done more. Okay, so that wraps that up. Let's talk about pitching. So Kikuchi went on the 10-day phantom IL with a I'm using air quotes, a neck strain.
Yeah.
And I guess that was they're trying to fix whatever is ailing Kikuchi. So he's been bad since last year at the All-Star break.
Yeah.
He pitched better against Detroit. He actually pitched well his last game, but it's hard to bank on it, right?
It is. It really is, because he's been like that all season. he'll stink it up, and then he'll have like a great start where he only allows like 2 hits.
Doesn't that
over
sound like
6
someone
innings. It's like, what the heck? Where did this come from?
Doesn't that sound like someone we're going to talk about?
Yeah.
Barrios?
Yeah.
Oh, he's been frustrating this year.
Yeah.
And I watched his last 2 games. He's got such a smooth delivery. I can't, I guess, except for location, I guess. Like if I didn't know any better, I would say he's tipping his pitches.
I would say so too, because he's got so much movement on his pitches.
And they just seem to know exactly what's coming.
Yeah.
And other than the balls that get hit are over the plate, but I mean, a lot of pitchers make mistakes and don't get hammered like Brios has been getting hammered this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what are your thoughts on Brios?
I don't know. Like, I really don't know what to do with Brios because he's been such a great pitcher in the past. And we're talking not just like 1 or 2 good seasons. He's had a fantastic career. And this year it's just, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is.
Like I would say, I would hazard a guess. I think if Brios is last year's Brios or the year before that's Brios, I think the Jays are at least 4 wins better.
Yeah.
So it's really cost them games. But the guy who hasn't cost us games, Alek Manoah, All-Star. Let's talk about the All-Star game. Did you watch the All-Star game?
I did.
Yeah. It was kind of nice seeing, even though it seemed like, I don't know what your thoughts were on this. It seemed like everybody made the All-Star game this year.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like Santiago Espinal. I think he's a great defensive player. But he's batting .271 at the time.
Yeah.
With 6 home runs?
But I don't think there was many second base options.
That's a huge for second base All-Star. But anyway, I guess. So Espinal was voted in because Altuve was hurt. Who am I thinking of? Alek Manoah got voted in, and Alejandro Kirk.
Yeah.
And then Romano went.
Yeah. So Romano deserved it.
Yep.
Kirk definitely deserved it. Vlad sort of deserved to be the starter. He deserved to be on the team, maybe not the starter.
Right. I think Ty France was probably more deserving of starting, but
yeah. But yeah, Espinal, I guess. Well, he was a replacement. Somebody got injured, and
Altuve got injured, so they put Espinal in there.
Yeah.
So did you watch Home Run Derby?
I did.
What'd you think of that?
It was all right. I liked seeing Albert Pujols in there.
Yeah, that was it was kind of fun and kind of sad. I think I don't know what your thoughts are. It was because Albert wasn't Albert.
No, but his swing hasn't changed in like 20
it hasn't, but you see where the power has declined, right? For a guy that's 80 years old, I mean, it's
faked age documents.
Because I think we all know he's not 40. He's probably, I would say he's closer, probably 43, 44 maybe.
Yeah.
But anyways, still, for a 40-year-old man to compete with guys that are in their mid to early 20s, it was entertaining. I was rooting for him. I was hoping he was going to somehow pull it off.
Yeah.
But it was the Julio Rodriguez show. That was pretty impressive. I just like the fact that Pete Alonso didn't win.
Yes, me too.
He's an arrogant POS.
Yeah.
Especially only when it comes to the home run derby. I don't know what he's like otherwise, but man, he gets. It was nice seeing him not win for once.
Yeah.
Soto just.
Soto.
So good in that. He's so good in that home run derby.
Yeah.
That's a really fun. It's a really fun event. I think that's, everybody kind of watches that more so than the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Would you change the format? Go back to like 10 outs?
I don't know. I don't mind the format, but what I find it is too chaotic where you can't even see how far the home run goes before the next one's already up in the air. So the camera is just constant all over the place.
Yeah. And and you think it's gone and then it hits the wall, but it doesn't show you hit the wall because you're already they've already put the camera back on the batter again, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a downer about it. I like the 10 out thing.
Same here.
But I mean, whatever. It's fun to watch. I wish Vladdy would have been in it.
You didn't want to be in it.
No, his wrist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the All-Star game happened. I watched most of it. Actually, I watched the Celebrity All-Star softball game.
I did too.
That's speaking about chaotic.
And Walter White got tossed.
Brian Cranston. You actually glared it back for real when they call it a strike. It was an inside pitch.
Yeah.
I used to like. I used to get upset because we never got the actual feed in Canada about the Celebrity All-Star game.
Yeah.
So I was always wanted to watch it. So I finally got a chance to watch it this year. It's pretty chaotic.
Yeah. It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was. I would prefer if they had kind of like what they do in hockey in the Heritage Classic. Like both teams have like their alumni play against each other.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool if you had like an American League and National League alumni game. Even if it wasn't softball, just baseball, it can be kind of fun to watch again.
Yeah.
So the American League wins again. It's getting embarrassing now for the National League.
It really is, eh?
Romano didn't pitch. Were you surprised?
I thought he would get at least a couple outs.
Yeah, a couple inning, an inning at least.
An inning, something.
Kirk played well. Manoa's a story, right?
Well, and so here's the thing. I was watching the Sportsnet feed,
Okay.
which came from MLB Network.
Yeah.
And the Fox, I didn't even think about watching it on Fox because that's where you were getting the mic'd players.
Right. So, yeah. So sorry to interrupt you. When I was watching the same thing. I was watching Sportsnet. I thought that was just the regular feed. I thought that was like, there's one all-star feed. This is it. And then watching highlights later on, they're like, yeah, and this is, he's talking back to John Smoltz. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know.
Where was I?
So I had to go back and watch it on YouTube.
And that was fun. He's talking to, I guess John Smoltz is talking to him in his headset.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, that's sexy.
yeah. So he asked John Smoltz where he wants his next pitch. And John Smoltz says, I want a slider low and inside, like back foot slider. Manoah talks back to him. Ooh, that's sexy. And then he ends up hitting the batter. But he got 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, 3 punchies.
3 punchies. It's great. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he is.
He's and then speaking about Noah, gave me a little bit of a heart attack when he got that comebacker off from, was it Detroit?
Yeah, it happened twice.
Yeah, so Detroit and Minnesota.
2 starts in a row.
The one in Detroit looked awful.
Yeah, hit him right in the elbow. You ever hit your funny bone?
Yes.
You know that like shocking tingly feeling you have up that shoots up your arm to your hand?
Yep.
I could have just imagined the feeling he would have gotten on that first one.
Well, I thought you were going to say, ever hit your funny bone? Hit it at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And so you think about how the Jays season would have turned out if that turned out any other way.
Right.
Say that shattered his elbow
Yeah.
or broke a bone. He's out for the season. I almost guarantee he'll never pitch the same way again. That could have been horrible. And then of course his next start, he gets a bounce back pitch off the arm again.
At least that one was on meat. It hit him right in the triceps.
Yeah. And he actually pointed to the dugout saying, stay in there. Stay
it
there.
Came out anyways.
Yeah. It was a game. Speaking about Manoah, he got fired up. Which game was it? Against Boston? It was Boston.
Yes.
He started yelling at the batter, right?
Yeah, tell him to sit the F down.
Sit the F down. Yeah. He's and speaking about John Schneider, he went and talked to him.
Yeah.
Right? Like
and basically what he told him was, I like the energy. I just don't want your emotions to get in the way of performance.
Right. And I think a young kid needs to hear that.
Yeah.
And as much as they said Charlie Montoyo was a player's manager, I think John Schneider is more so because you nailed it, right? He'll sit down and talk to his players, communicate with them, and that's exactly what he did with Alec. I don't know if Charlie would have done that.
I don't think so. Well, Charlie didn't say a word when Robbie Ray was getting yelled at by the Baltimore Orioles dugout, and like that, and that's just kind of goes to show, right? Like there's difference there, right?
Yep.
It just doesn't say anything.
What else has happened in Jays land? Well, they announced, and you'll keep seeing this on Sportsnet because Rogers owns them. Rogers is doing a renovation of Rogers Center.
Yep.
So I guess
what I liked is the way that Mark Shapiro put it. He says we're turning a stadium into a ballpark.
Yes, that's good. It's a good quote, and that's exactly what he said. Right? They're turning what was a cookie cutter baseball field because
multi-purpose
exactly.
field.
Right, and that's what it was built in 92.
89. It opened in 89.
Right. So it was, because it opened the year before Cannon Yards opened up, which changed the landscape of baseball fields.
Yeah.
So 89 opened, and it was to house, it was the first retractable roof in any stadium.
Yep.
Well, I guess except Olympic Stadium.
Which never really opened.
Never really opened, but in any event. So it was meant for the Argos. It was meant for the Jays and, sports. So they had WrestleMania there. The
Raptors played there for a few seasons.
So, I mean, it was built to house more than one sport.
Exactly.
And now it just belongs to the Jays. So they're turning it into what it should be, which is a baseball stadium. And now was I disappointed originally that they didn't build a new stadium? Yeah. I didn't see the vision. I guess I didn't see what they're doing. And it's, if you look at the pictures, it's pretty phenomenal.
It is. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was impressed by by what we saw in the renderings.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't seen the renderings, basically they changed the entire 500 level, which is the upper deck, right?
Yeah. On either side of the hotel.
Yeah. Right. So basically the cheap seats, I guess you could call them, and I guess basically more like the whole section of where the WestJet flight deck is, the 500 level, it's all being completely renovated.
Right.
There'll be no more like just seats. It looks like it's just from the drawings. It looks like it's going to be like tables, chairs, restaurants and bars up there.
Well, they're basically taking what the WestJet flight deck is,
right,
and they're basically replicating that up top, and they're calling that like the rooftop patio. Experience.
Right. And it looks really, the drawings look really cool. I can imagine what it's going to actually look like. It'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah. He wants to create an atmosphere where people go to a rooftop, bar or a restaurant or whatever to kind of hang out. But he says, well, I want to create the best rooftop experience in Toronto. Yeah.
Well, and it looks imaginative for one. Like they're losing seating.
Yep.
They're losing that revenue from lack of, but they're gaining more notoriety, I guess.
Well, and what he said that they're probably going to move, they're going to be closer to 40,000 than they are to 50,000.
Well, yeah, which is 40,000 is now your typical
ballpark
baseball stadium, right?
Yeah. And the nice thing is that he was saying that those are seats that weren't sold very much anyways, unless we had a full on sellout. Those seats were never purchased.
Right. And I remember back in the day, like early 2000s when the Jays weren't doing much, they were tarped off, right?
Yeah.
They're big, like, those big tarps hanging over the seats, covering them up. And then another major part of the renovation is those, the bullpen.
Yeah. They're going to be raised.
So basically it looks like from where the wall is now in right and left field, the bullpen will be raised up to that level.
Yeah.
Does that sound right about right?
Yep.
So fans will be surrounding the bullpen,
which will be intimidating for opposing teams.
Right. Like, I think it's great. Like, well, I'd love to have. It'd be cool just to sit there. Like, it's even either side, either the Jays relievers or the opposing players. I mean, that's getting right in the action.
Yeah. And they're bringing the seats right to the wall. Right now
Right.
there's that gap. So what he said was every home run is going to end up in somebody's collection.
That's and then the way I guess the way the bullpen bows in the wall, right?
Yeah.
The way the walls are repositioned. There's me like some tricky
Angles.
bounces in the outfield.
Yeah.
So the dimensions are going to change a bit, not crazy, not like I don't think it's gonna be like a bandbox like New York,
No.
but it'll be a little bit. It looks like a little bit
Shallower in the power alleys. Yeah, it'll be shallower in the power alleys.
which is good for our team, right? That's
Yeah. And
and go ahead.
it appears like the wall in center field is going to be dropped down to about like 5-6 feet.
Right. Which is cool. I mean, these are all like, I can't wait to see what it looks like. So that's this year's, and I guess next year they're going to work on the lower bowl.
Yeah,
Basically where we sat when we went to New York.
exactly.
Saw New York. And this is a thing I had no idea. I guess Toronto has the second largest foul ball territory in the American League, or is it in baseball?
In baseball.
And then first is Oakland,
and then Toronto.
I had no idea.
Neither did I.
It doesn't seem like it's anything, but I guess obviously it is, right?
Yeah. So they're
so
going to bring the seats closer to the action.
Yeah.
So they're to gain seats that are going to be like right at field level.
Right.
They're going to rotate so if anybody's ever been to Rogers Center, you'll know that if you're sitting anywhere past like the third or first base towards the outfield, if you're sitting on the lines, you're essentially standing and you're staring at the center fielder, which means you have to turn your head to see the action in the infield, which is where all of the action's happening.
Right.
So you're essentially sitting there with your body turned the whole game, which is not a very comfortable way to watch a ball game.
No.
And that's just because, well, those seats were movable, right? They would be able to rotate the whole lower bowl, depending if it was football or baseball, they would be able to move those things. Yeah. So they weren't designed for one specific sport. Well, now they're going to rotate all of the seats. So they're all facing towards the infield. It's going to be a much better viewing experience for people.
Yeah. I'm when these, like, I'm looking forward to next year to see what they do in the outfield. And I'm really looking forward when it's all complete to see what the transformation is. It's pretty, you kind of see the vision it's going, right? That's, so just keep watching Sportsnet. Every Jays game, they end up showing a rendering or something. Hey, and another a good news story, I guess we should talk about is Buck Martinez is back.
Yes.
And it was really nice to see him back in the broadcast booth. It was emotional to see, the Jays fans, the Jays team.
The players actually came up, tipped their hat.
Yeah, tipped their hat to him, right? And he got choked up a little bit, which is kind of cool to see. It's good to see him back and healthy. And
well, it was nice to see, like at the All-Star game, they always have that stand up to cancer where the players all stand with a card and they'll have a person's name on it. And this year Vlad had Buck Martinez and Jamie Campbell, because Jamie Campbell, who does the pregame show and the postgame show, was also dealing with the cancer situation earlier this year.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that Ken Rosenthal. Yeah, Trevor Rosenthal. He's a pitcher. Ken Rosenthal, who's actually used to work for MLB Network, but now works for The Athletic. Was also holding a card with their names on it, which was nice.
Yeah. And what was great about it is, when Sportsnet shows the All-Star game, they cut back to like Jamie Campbell in Toronto. And he did a little thing after he saw that, and he got choked up a little bit too. And not very much as Jamie Campbell gets choked up. But it was, you see what a small community baseball is. And he said, Ken Rosenthal calls him and Buck like once or twice a week to see how they're doing. So
that's good.
It was really good. It was really nice to see. So that's a good news story for the Jays. We talked about Alek Noah. We talked about Kikuchi and his up and down. I don't know which one's going to show. He pitches tonight.
Yeah. So I was just looking at his game log, and going back to June, he pitched 4 innings, allowed 4 runs. Then he only pitched 2/3 of an inning, allowed 3 runs. 4 innings, 4 runs. 4 innings, 3 runs. 2 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 1 run, which was the good outing against Tampa Bay.
Right.
Then he pitched 2 innings, 4 runs, and then 5 innings, 1 run against Detroit, and then 4 innings, 2 runs.
So you never know which Kikuchi you're going to get.
Exactly.
Let's hope tonight's a good Kikuchi night.
Yeah, a lot. So I was listening, and I think one thing that some people were saying was that Kikuchi seems to have a lack of trust in changing things. So he tends to revert back to his old ways.
Right.
Which is why sometimes it works. And then when things, as soon as he feels like, oh, it's not working, I'm getting hit, he'll revert back instead of trusting the process, which is what Robbie Ray did, right? Robbie Ray came in, he trusts the process with Pete Walker, followed Pete Walker. He had a few outings that were like, meh, but he never reverted back. He always kept going with it. And that's something that Kikuchi is lacking right now is as soon as he has a stumble, he just seems to revert back to his old style, and that's where everything gets undone. And
I think that's where that 10-day IL stint came into play. I think they were really trying to hammer that point into him. Like, you got to stick with this process, because otherwise, I mean, Robbie Ray, when he came to the Jays, had a 7 ERA.
Yeah,
he had nowhere to go but up, right? So, I'm hoping tonight's a good Kikuchi night. He's like a box of chocolates.
You never know.
You never know what you're gonna get. So anything else Blue Jay wise you can think of that happened this past month?
Well, Gurriel is on fire.
There's a good point. Gurriel is batting .310 right now, I think.
312.
312. But since June 1st, he's batting .368.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
No power.
No. And I don't know what happened to his power.
He's got 5 home runs this year.
Yeah. Because he's typically a 20 home run kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think anybody
unless he really turns it on over the next couple months.
You have to really, really, really turn it on. He's exploded for some reason. Something's clicked.
Yeah.
And it's funny though. Remember, I think we said a couple podcasts ago, his brother Yuri said Uriel is a better hitter.
Yeah.
And he's kind of proving it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just looking at his game log. Since June 1st, he's hitting .365.
That's crazy.
He still has an OPS of 892, which means he's getting a lot of doubles. He's got a lot of doubles.
Yeah. And Kirk is kind of starting to slump.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because he's playing so much, or or maybe pitchers are starting to actually pay attention to him.
Maybe.
Guerrero Jr.'s he's quietly getting up to 300.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing Vlad things, right?
Right. He's batting almost 290 now.
Yeah.
22, 23 home runs.
Yeah, and his home runs are hit hard. You see that one that was like, they said it was 115 miles an hour off the bat.
That was like when that person caught it, or I don't know if they caught it in the outfield or not, but I was scared for the person in the outfield. Like, I wouldn't put my hand out for that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, I'd be pushing a kid in the way. You want the ball? Here you go. He's having a great year. Teoscar's batting well. Chapman, prior to like the Minnesota series, actually prior to game 2 of the Minnesota series, he was batting really well.
Yeah. Let's take a look at his log here.
I mean, overall,
he really turned it on there at the end of July. Yeah, from like July 12th, basically right after the All-Star break until just recently.
And I wonder if that's to do with his wrist.
Could be. Yeah, from the All-Star break to the end of June, he was batting .412.
Yeah, and I would hazard a guess it had to do with him getting some rest for his wrist. Remember those couple of games he wasn't playing because of his wrist, and every second game he wasn't playing, and so maybe it's finally getting healthy again. And Espinal's kind of slumping too. I mean, I guess everybody can't hit.
Yeah,
but I really like I like what Merrifield and Tapia bring to this team, right? I like the fact they're not the 25, 30 home run hitters. They're the ones that are going to slap the ball around and make contact all the time.
Yeah.
Merrifield really showed what he's made of. And we talked about this a little earlier about Merrifield, but he really showed what he's made of and what he brings to the team yesterday in extra innings. So let's talk about yesterday's game.
Okay.
Since I know a listener is very interested in our opinion. Well, we talk about the Minnesota series since that's the most recent one in this podcast. So the Jays come in for 4 games against Minnesota. What'd you think of the series?
It was a great series.
Yeah.
It was like a playoff atmosphere, really.
Yeah, and it's exactly the way I would describe it. As it was a playoff atmosphere. They're so close in the wild card that they're pretty evenly matched, right?
Yeah.
So the Jays come in. Thursday was pretty well. Actually, it was a close game until the 8th inning, I guess, where the Jays won 9-3. Manoah pitched well again. The Twins bullpen blew it. You're gonna have games like that.
Yeah.
Jays lose a heartbreaker in 10 innings the next day, 6-5. Romano takes the loss, blown save. Was it a blown save? No, it was just he's just in relief. So the Jays lose that one. They lose a stinker on Saturday, 7-3, where again, that was White's first appearance. He didn't pitch bad.
Yeah, he didn't pitch bad. The one before, so they had 2 games that went into extras.
Yeah.
The one they lost.
That's right. Romano's loss, yeah.
Romano's loss without, what did it say? Without allowing a hit, without walking anybody.
Yeah.
It was just errors.
It was Biggio ground ball to second base.
Yeah.
Completely just botched it.
And then Jansen's botched throw to first.
That's right. So there's a little dribbler up the line.
Yeah.
He grabs it. Vladdy didn't move to the foul side of first base. He stayed in fair territory. Didn't give him a lane. Didn't give Jansen a target at all.
Yeah.
So the ball got thrown away. Anyways, yeah, that was just comedy of errors, I guess.
Yeah.
And then yesterday's game.
Yeah.
So extra innings. Merrifield starts at second base. There's a fly ball. I think it was Espinal hits a fly ball to center.
Yeah.
Buxton catches it. Merrifield tags up. It was a close play at third, but he beat it.
Yeah.
Even though Minnesota challenged it.
Yeah.
Because why not? He was called safe. The review, he was safe. Then Biggio's up, hits a medium fly ball. I wouldn't say it was shallow. It wasn't
shallow. It wasn't deep.
Well, but it was medium. But Merrifield, this is what Merrifield brings to the team, speed. And he tags up at third, runs in, and here's where the controversy happens. So I'll describe to you the play.
Yeah.
So it was Biggio hits the ball to left field. Left fielder picks it up, throws the ball. I don't even think it was a hop.
Oh, it was a fly ball. It was a sac fly.
No, I meant like there wasn't a hop. Like a
throw.
Yeah,
no, it was directly right to the catcher.
Directly right to the Sanchez was catching. So Sanchez is catching the ball on the left field side. Is straddling the plate to catch the ball, puts his knee down to block the plate, blocks Merrifield, and the call on the field is out.
Yeah.
It was a good tag, blocked the plate. Jays challenged it because of the Buster Posey rule, which says that you have to give a lane for the runner coming home to slide in.
Yeah. The
call got overturned. So Gary Sanchez is straddling the plate, and like I said, he blocks it with his knee, called reverse. The call goes to New York for to check on the play. I guess the Jays challenged it, and the Buster Posey rule states you need to give him a lane to slide in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Minnesota, there wasn't that lane available. And I get, so the argument, Rocco Baldelli lost his mind, and rightfully so. I would expect nothing less if it was John Schneider, if it was a circumstances were reversed. Because that, prior to like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, that would have been
whenever
that's an out.
Was, yeah.
That's an out. And I guess the argument you have, and it's funny that it happened yesterday in Toronto's game. It happened also in the Baltimore game. Same exact play. You can see the argument. I can see the argument. I don't know if I agree with it. How else do you make that play?
Yeah.
If the ball's coming in from left field, how do you not basically block the plate in order to catch the ball?
So one thing that Joe Siddle, who former catcher, also does some of the broadcasting for the Blue Jays. What he said is what he would have done is once you learn the rule is you got to basically remember that this rule is in place all the time. And he said, my go-to move would be to put my heel on the front corner of the plate with my toe pointing towards third base. Right. He's like, that way you're giving the whole back half of the plate as a sliding path for the runner. From there, you're giving them a path. And if the throw takes you into the line, that's allowed.
Right.
He said, had Gary Sanchez started with his feet on the inside of the foul line rather than straddling the plate, what he did after he caught the ball or even while he was catching the ball was completely legit. It was the fact that he didn't move. He straddled the plate from the moment the ball hit the fielder's glove to the moment he caught it. He did not move and he was straddling the plate the whole time. And I think that's what New York looked at. They said, no lane at all from the moment the runner is taken off from third.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, that's, like again, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I think when the Buster Posey rule came out. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you're a baseball fan, so you probably do know. But for those of you who might not know, Buster Posey's a catcher for the Giants. Similar play where he was catching the ball. He's got his leg broken. Same with the Chase Utley rule at second base. In any event, it's a tough way to lose. The Jays got the I want to say the right side of the call for that one. I mean, I would love to watch a series between Minnesota and Toronto in a playoff series. It'd be great.
Yeah.
It was upsetting to see, when we said it before, Barrios come back to Minnesota and pitch like garbage.
Yeah, that was.
Like I said earlier, I don't know what it is with him this year.
He's like, he has some starts where he's on fire and then other starts where he's just garbage. Like you said, he's just garbage.
So, can you think of anything else in Jay's land we should talk about? I think we nailed everything.
I think we nailed it. Yeah.
We'll do a quick, I guess we can do a quick around the league. And I want to start off with, this is a very serious story. And I want, I can't even say it with a straight face, but there's been a news release from the Guardians.
Oh.
So I just want to, so we know, the Nationals have a president's race around the field, in I think it's seventh inning.
Right.
And I don't know, remember Teddy Roosevelt couldn't win for the life of him forever, and then he ended up winning. But anyways, so this is kind of in that vein. The mustard, it's a condiment race. So this is regarding the mustard.
Okay.
So Cleveland Guardians.
Guardians, yes.
Option mustard to high A Lake County. Mustard 17 has struggled at a historic pace this season, failing to secure a victory in any of their first 50 Sugardale hot dog races at Progressive Field in 2022. One race is rained out. The tantrum throwing condiment is being sent down to the Guardians high A team, the Lake County captains, to try and get his mental and physical game back to an MLB caliber level. He's expected to report to the captains on Monday and race in Tuesday's contest. And it shows the stats of the Sugardale hot dog race results. Ketchup is 125. Onion has 125. Mustard is 10.
Wow.
So that was a news release.
Well, I saw one of the races. Poor Mustard's pants fell off and it tripped him. And he was in the lead.
Right. Horseshit. Should have called the game. Obviously, someone in the press room in Cleveland's board. Also, yesterday, so we mentioned Juan Soto was on the trade market. He got traded to San Diego, who gave up a boatload for him. And they played the Dodgers for a 3-game set and lost all 3. I think they lost a combined score of like 28-5.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So they asked
Manny Machado.
Did you see that? Yes. So Machado was asked if he was concerned about the Padres matchup with the Dodgers. So, quote, concerned? Why would I be? Concerned? Why would I be concerned? Not at all. Reporter says, what gives you that confidence? And he answers, I'm effing Manny Machado. I like his confidence.
Yeah.
But if I just picked up the biggest trade bait in major leagues and got crushed by the Dodgers, I don't know if I'd be too happy about it. In other news, this is crazy. The closer for the Mets, Edwin Diaz. Have you seen his entrance music?
Yeah. It's like trumpets.
Trumpet. It's a lot, kind of like a little bit like Alejandro Kurtz.
Yeah.
Anyways, not as intimidating, but Edwin Diaz has now struck out 91 of the 172 batters he's faced this season.
That's crazy.
That's insane. And I guess the crowd actually groans if he doesn't strike out when they're there. The Angels. So the Angels hit 7 home runs, 3 days ago?
Yeah.
They hit 7 home runs.
2 of them by Shohei Ohtani.
And they lost the game.
8-7.
To be an Angels fan, have all that money and anyways, I don't think, do you think Shohei will be there next year?
I think so, because I think he's still under contract.
I thought this was the last year.
I think he's got another year.
Okay. If that's the case, yeah, I guess it's a stupid question. Then he'll be there next year. I don't think he's happy with being there right now.
I wouldn't be. And then you got Mike Trout dealing with a neck or back issue or upper back.
Yeah, and it's so this is a kind of a weird story. This happened this month, right? This weird story came out of like it's this rare disorder in his back. Like it'd be a life, like a career management treatment thing, and then Mike Trout's like basically like, nah, it's fine. Like it'll be fine. So I don't know. I think Mike Trout's kind of playing it down, but it sounds pretty serious.
Yeah.
I posted something on it for those of you who watch or keep track of our Facebook page. I posted there's that meme that comes out with Jonah Hill and Brad Pitt from Moneyball, and you have Jonah Hill pointing to the board and it says, "This is Whit Merrifield. We just traded for him. He led the Major League Baseball in 2018 and 2019. His only flaw is he legally cannot enter the country in our home stadium." And the Braves on August 1st designated Robinson Cano for assignment.
Not surprised.
He's done. Let's take a fork at him.
Yeah.
And on August 1st, Marcus Stroman announced that he'll play for Puerto Rico in 2023 World Baseball Classic.
Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Huh.
Those of you who don't remember, in 2017, he was the World Baseball Classic MVP when he helped Team USA secure its first World Baseball Classic championship.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's our Around the Horn section.
So before we end this out, let's take a look at the standings.
Okay.
So in the American League, we've got the Yankees leading the East.
Yeah.
Houston leading the West. Minnesota leading the Central. And then for the wild card, you've got Toronto, who's got a 2-game lead on Seattle and Tampa Bay, who are kind of tied-ish for the second and third wild card. And right behind them by 2 games are the Orioles and the Indians, or the Guardians. Sorry, I pulled it.
I did that to you.
So this wild card race could come down to the wire.
Absolutely. And I think the Jays play they played 15 games against the Orioles.
Thank goodness. Well,
Well,
hopefully, thank goodness.
and they're playing right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
3-0 Baltimore.
Oh, crap.
Oh.
Now in the National League, you've got the Dodgers leading the West, the Mets leading the East, and St. Louis leading the Central.
Yeah.
And for the wild card, you've got Atlanta with a 3.5 game lead over Philadelphia. And Philadelphia has a half a game lead over San Diego. And right behind them is Milwaukee that are behind them by a game and a half. So not quite as tight as the American League, but still some room for people to make a move around there. Let's talk about Milwaukee.
Yeah, let's do that.
They traded away one of their closers,
Josh Hader, and was it Devin Williams since the trade deadline has blown like 3 saves? Yeah. Mind you, from my recollection, I don't think Josh Hader was having a great last couple of weeks leading up to the deadline. But
that just leaves. And then they designated one of the guys that they got for assignment.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Milwaukee.
Yeah, what is going on there?
Sorry, just to interrupt there. The good news is Kikuchi's only given up 1 hit.
Oh.
Bad news. It was a 3-run shot.
Oh.
To Urias and gave up 2 walks.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Milwaukee. I don't really understand what's going on with Milwaukee. When they traded Josh Hader, I didn't really understand it.
I knew they had a good bullpen. So here's the thing, right?
I mean, they're only 2 games out.
They're 2 games out
from St. Louis. That's it.
From St. Louis. And you've got 2 shutdown relievers. It would be like the Jays saying, well, we got Dwayne Ward, so let's get rid of Tom Hankey. You know what I mean?
Right.
We know that during those championship years, those were the guys that shortened the game for you.
Yep. They basically, Toronto was ahead of its time, right? That was 3 shutdown relievers, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's what the Jays had, basically.
Yeah.
Except it was Dwayne Ward and Tom Hankey. Yeah, I don't get what Milwaukee's doing. Only 2 games out of the first and behind St. Louis. And the wild card, they're a game and a half.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, do you think they're gonna? They made them. They're the ones that got Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah.
Do you see them making a move?
I think they'll end up in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to end up anywhere.
I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't really trust the Mets. Maybe it's just history, but I mean, they look good against Atlanta. But I don't know if I think Atlanta's going to make a move towards. They're 6.5 games out, which is a lot. I don't know. I can see Atlanta making a move for first place.
Yeah. Well, it'll be an interesting end of the year.
And the Dodgers are basically running away with the West.
Yeah, just like the way the Yankees are. Well, I mean, if the Yankees keep losing.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Mind you, if the Jays don't beat Baltimore.
Yeah.
So more stuff from around the league. On July 24th, Madison Bumgarner called Victor Robles a clown. Marked his home run.
And he wore a nose.
Then Robles came to the back of the dugout, put on a red nose. Yeah. I got some more on the horn stuff for us. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, that's it. Oh, no, wait. This is on July 27th. This is before Gallo got traded. So July 27th. At that time, Aaron Judge had 38 home runs. Joey Gallo had 37 hits. And Drew Jones, who was drafted by the Diamondbacks on July 28th, hurt his shoulder. after his first workout while taking batting practice. He's out for the year.
Oh, great.
That sucks. And July 28th, this is when the Jays were playing Seattle. Playing St. Louis. On the 2nd of May, 2006, Adam Wainwright struck out Craig Biggio. On the 27th of July, 2006. On the 27th of July, 2022, Adam Wainwright struck out Kevin Biggio.
Yeah.
How long has Adam Wainwright been in the league for? Anyways, that's what I got from around the league. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's time to go watch that debacle that's happening in Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh, we need to win this. We need to win the series.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
A lot of game left.
Yep.
Okay, man. For myself, Mickey, this is my co-host, Ivan.
Hey, everybody. Have a good week.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you next week for sure.
All right.